We are in the Christmas season, and I understand there may be some of you who do not celebrate Christmas, and I do respect that. I want to speak to those who do celebrate to remember to keep the focus on Christ. You know, Christmas is often thought of as a festive season, a time when family and friends gather together, give gifts, and eat lots and lots of food. When people think about Christmas time, they associate it with holiday cookies and special candies, turkey, dressing, stuffing, pies, and all sorts of baked goods. And we think of cold and snow and Christmas lights lit up so bright. And we associate it with driving around, looking at the Christmas lights and the holiday displays. And many's first thoughts often go to Santa and his reindeer. Now, I am not promoting Santa and his reindeer. Please do not misunderstand me. When my children were growing up, I never did tell them that there was a Santa, and I will get to that in a minute. But it's sad. I asked in my Sunday school class, I said, what season are we in? They all knew it was Christmas, and they're all excited because they know that they're getting presents, and some of them have already received their presents. And I asked them, what are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? And they told me so many things. And I said, how many have thought about Jesus? And it's sad that none of them did. Parents, grandparents, we have a responsibility to teach these children and really help them to know and to remember that Christmas is about Christ. When Santa and his reindeer are top priority, we're not helping them to see Jesus in this season, because that is what it's all about. So I want to ask you, have you even stopped to think about Jesus with Christmas? Is he the first thing thought of and associated with the Christmas season? Or is he the last? He definitely should be the first thought, because he is the reason that there is a Christmas. And without Christ, there would not be a Christmas. And around Christmas of 2021, I began to really soul search and reflect on these thoughts. And I wondered, how much do we truly make Christmas about Jesus Christ? I wondered how much we truly make Christmas about Jesus Christ. I'm not knocking the presents, the lights, the trees, the parties, or the family gatherings, because I enjoy all of those too. But if Jesus is the reason for the season, as we all say, how much focus do we truly place on him? I never taught my children that there was a Santa, for many reasons. I didn't like a fictitious character getting credit for what I worked hard to provide. And I didn't like the focus being on Santa instead of or more than Jesus. And while I didn't do those things, I still had to soul search how much I truly centered Christmas about Jesus Christ to my children. I said that Jesus is the reason and the focus, but I wondered, did my actions say something different? And after my children's dad had passed away, we drove around looking at Christmas lights and playing Christmas music, trying to find some Christmas cheer. We tried to enjoy the beautiful tree with the presents beneath and the joy that they would bring, meager though they were. We gathered for parties with friends, and we watched Christmas parades, and we watched the church Christmas programs. But I wondered, even in that, how much attention did Jesus truly receive? Is it truly about him? Or was it about watching the adorable kids in the Christmas program and performing? Or the warm, fuzzy feeling that we get inside, enjoying all those Christmas festivities and songs? And I love various Christmas songs. Jingle Bells and other fun, joyful Christmas songs, Joy to the World, Silent Night. But how much are some of those Christmas songs really about Jesus, or a lot of those Christmas songs really about Jesus? Joy to the World is, Silent Night, but many songs are not. So many, too many, are about Santa or self or worse, lust, fornication, and adultery. I cringed and I grieved thinking about it. And you may think, lust, fornication, adultery. Think about some of those Christmas songs that they're playing on the radio. Santa Baby, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and others. Those are all about adultery, fornication, and lust. And then all the Christmas songs about Santa or self. I want, I want. You know, when I hear a lot of those songs playing in the store, I cringe. If they come on the radio, I turn them off. Because I don't believe God is pleased with them. And I believe he cringes as well. When Christmas is more about everything else and very little, if anything, is about him. Without Christ, there would not be a Christmas. The holiday season can be lonely and painful for some, but when we keep the focus more on Jesus than on the festivities and the things that we associate with Christmas or Thanksgiving or other holidays, it becomes more bearable because we are thinking about Jesus and we're doing things unto Jesus. You know, I believe it was last year, maybe the year before. I don't like it when my husband asks me to share a Christmas memory because I'm going to end up in tears. In fact, the first video that I just did about all this, I deleted it because I was boo-hooing and tears rolling down my cheek, and I didn't want everybody to be depressed listening to this thing. But, you know, I think it was last year. I'll try to do this without crying. We were at our church Christmas dinner, and my husband, my pastor, he asked to share a Christmas memory. And one of the Christmas memories that I had was that first year that we drove around listening to Christmas music and looking at Christmas lights and just trying to find some happiness because we were grieving. We've been grieving since May, or the first part of May, grieving, missing their dad who had passed away. And I wanted to give the kids something special for Christmas. And so they had the layaway plan at Walmart. If any of you remember that, we're getting older. And I think that might have been the last year that Walmart actually had the Christmas plan where you could go and you could bring your gift and you could make payments, the payment plan. And so I had found some iPods, and they were only a couple $100, and I thought, surely I can do this. And so I put them on layaway and I made payments. But when it came to the last couple days, I think it was in the last week or the last couple days before I had to pay it completely off, or those items were going back on the shelf, I realized I did not have enough money to pay it all off. And I was despondent, and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what am I going to do? I'm trying to make the Christmas special. And nobody knew because I didn't tell anybody what we were going through. I didn't ask for help. But the Lord laid it on people's hearts to give us money. And they gave it to the church, and then the pastor, Brother Mangan, Anthony Mangan. He called me into the office and he said, people have been giving me money and the church wants to bless you. And I'm so thankful that they did, because it provided the money that I needed to be able to go pay off those items and give the children a special Christmas gift that year. And so before their dad had passed, we could never afford to give a lot. You know, Christmas wasn't about presents, anyways, but we tried to do what we could. But we struggled financially. And so the most that we usually spent on our kids each Christmas was $30. So this was something big and something major that we normally could not afford to do. And so I took those iPods, and if you remember the nesting boxes that they used to have at Dollar Tree, when Dollar Tree was actually a dollar. I call it the, what do I call it? I call it the something more than a dollar. I don't remember exactly what I call Dollar Tree now, but anyways, I bought those nesting boxes and I put their iPod down in the bottom, and then I put some candy on top of it, and then I put the next nesting box in there and I filled it with candy, and I put the next one in and I filled it with candy, and until I got to the end, and then I gave it to the kids on Christmas morning. And my kids always tried to be grateful, even if it was meager and it was not much, and they opened the present and they saw the candy, and I tried to get special candy, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, Mom." I said, "Well, keep digging, keep going down." And so they open the next one and they're like, "Oh, thanks, Mom, it's more candy." And I said, "Keep going." And so they go down and until they finally get to the bottom. And when they saw those iPods, their eyes lit up. It was such a special memory. And I'm thankful for those who remembered us, who thought of us, and who gave to us in our time of sorrow, in our time of need. And I'm thankful that the Lord laid it on people's hearts, because he cares about the widows and he cares about the fatherless. But he cares about each and every one of us too. And there are people right now that are going through sad, sorrowful times. There's somebody missing at the dinner table. There's an empty chair these holiday seasons. And it makes it painful and it hurts. So remember them, pray for them, and be the hands and feet of Jesus if you can, because Christmas is all about Christ, and it's all about giving to others. And when we keep that focus, it will make the holidays more special, more bright, because it is all about Jesus, and all that we do should be for him and unto him. So for those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and remember to keep the focus on Christ.